Oh, hey guys, BP back here. NCP, she's driving. We're on our way down to Weyburn for our grandson's birthday party, I guess. So we're on number 6 highway south of Regina. Anyways, we got hooked up to our other Heston Haybine and we're servicing it up, and I found we got a busted spring on that sucker for the flotation part of it. And so we got it tore apart. That's kind of an ugly friggin' job, taking it all apart, but we got it all apart, and I got the new part in the truck here with us. So tomorrow I will give you all a quick review on how that comes apart and goes back together, and a quick review on what we did, because there was a couple comments on how we got those bolts reversed on that wobble box area. So I'll give a quick review over that. And the wife is driving on the rumble strip because there's a copper. Anyways, so yeah, that's what's going on. You got anything to say? The wife don't got nothing to say. But anyways, oh, that's not good. He had her standing behind the freaking truck. She was being a bad girl. Anyways, I think I said yesterday for you guys to take a wild guess on how many Ks we put on this past week. We did 2,516 kilometers this past week. That's how many Ks we put on the truck. So we are currently sitting, I think, at 642,000 kilometers. 642 something. But we're not in my truck right now. We're in the wife's Ford. So you guys all have yourselves a good day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Where'd he go? There he is.
Here he comes. He's pretty low.
Yep, he's pretty low. He's pretty low.
Pretty cool. Maybe I'll get my pilot license.
You're gonna get your pilot license. Some days, I'm not sure if I should drive in the truck with you.
Hey.
Anyway, that's how lots of guys are spraying shit around here this year. Talk to you later. Well, good morning, boys and girls. BP back here. So we're working on the wife's machine. That's why it's hooked up to the McCormick. And this one is also an 1160 Heston, 14 foot. We bought this one, I can't remember, about 6 years ago. Bought it used. It only had like a couple thousand, maybe 2,000 acres on it in total. It's all pretty straight and pretty clean. But when we bought it, this plate was broke right around here someplace, if I remember correctly. So we had to replace this plate, and getting to this area on our other machine, this one's identical. They are exactly the same. Anyway, so see how these bolts are, the nuts are on the top? I had a couple of guys comment because on the other one, I had the nuts coming in at one point from the backside, and then I realized, oh, something's wrong here, because the bolt was rubbing just ever so slightly on that wheel. So to get these bolts in here, you undo up here, you undo these two, you undo this one from here and this one from here, you undo these two down here, and then you could take this whole assembly, pull it outward this way towards the front of the machine this way, and then you can get your bolts to come in from the back side, and you got to thread them in. And yeah, so it's not really all that bad, but it is a bit of a pain in the royal you know what. So now on this particular machine, when we bought it, I had some young hot rodder fucking kids when I was bringing it home that basically I'm coming down the grid road They are coming down the grid road towards me, wouldn't move over at all, and basically I was forced into the ditch, putting the machine in the ditch, hit a rut in the ditch, and broke one of these. This is the Flotation spring pack, Flotation on it, and broke this spring back here. It's you guys can see that it's a little bit gray in color. Well, that's why, because this gray one is new. Well, new as of 4 or 5 years ago, from when we bought the machine. 6 years ago, whenever the hell that was. So we were just servicing it up yesterday morning before we went to Weyburn to our grandson's birthday party. And while servicing it, I found, lo and behold, another broken spring. And there it is right there. And that's the other half of it right there. So, got a new one, and we need to install that sucker. And this is kind of a pain in the royal ass too, to be totally honest with you guys. And so, you got to get the new spring. If you guys can make this out. So down there, right there, that hole, there's a bolt that comes in through the bottom, and it threads into the bottom side of the spring pack. And then on the top side, the same thing. There's a bolt that goes into the plate on the top side and threads in. And then that holds that spring in place. And then there's a long bolt, and I'll show it to you guys here in a second, that goes through here. And at the center of this plate on the top, it threads into the center of the plate, which pulls the spring into position and keeps everything tight. And so I'm not going to video all of it by any means, because it's kind of a two-handed job. And it's a real bitch to get it started. So I'm going to get started at installing this new spring on here, and we'll bring you back at that time. Where did that big long bolt get put? I'm not sure. I know the wife was here helping me pick stuff up, and I'm not sure where she put that big long bolt. Oh, here it is on the bench. Oh, maybe I did this one actually, because I had to get the socket off the head. So this here long bolt, that's the bolt that goes in through the center plate, and then it'll pull, you tension up all of your springs at one time with this big bolt right here. And that sucker is what, about 14 inches long. So anyways, let's get at her, and we'll bring you back in a bit and show you something a little bit later. Oakley dokely. So, hey babe. So we got the bolt in here. The new spring is in, as you guys can see. What I did was lifted the machine up and tied the spring pack back to this up here. So we got our spring in, bolt in the top, bolt is in the bottom. It's not tight. Sometimes when you guys are installing these things, you actually gotta, here, let me back this up a bit. There. You actually gotta loosen this one off, and that'll give you just enough play to shove that one over to move this one, because these suckers are right tight to each other. And then you can get this nut or bolt started. So now all we got to do is tighten these all up on the bottom, tighten it up on the top, and then the new bolt is in up here, and hopefully when we let this go, it'll fall into position inside the framework here. And we got to drop the machine. Right now I have it lifted up. So then we got to let the machine down, and that'll bring this plate in tighter and up higher inside the framework. And hopefully that bolt on top, that long sucker, is long enough to get started. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, so we got our bolt right here started. Now, when we let it all the way down, that brought this part up into the frame, but we were still 3/4 of an inch short. The bolt wasn't quite long enough. So then the wife had an idea. That was a good thing I had her here. She's pretty good at this stuff sometimes. To throw a couple of blocks underneath to help push the table up higher than what it actually would be normally. So we threw these blocks under, still wasn't quite high enough. So then I got the jackal, the dangerous unit, and we threw that under the end of it, lifted it up a little bit more yet, and I was able to get the bolt started right here, which you can see I've only got it threaded in there by, maybe 1/4 of an inch right now. So we'll suck him up more. I'm going to get the impact on it. Where's my impact? The trusty Milwaukee. Here, babe, you hold that.
Which way are you going here?
Just like,
huh?
Turn it around. There. Just like that. Hold it like that. Get this off of here. This is 1.25 inch socket that goes on there. And he's a bit of a tight fit. Tight, eh? Crank him up all the way.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty loud. It echoes pretty good in there. And you might not be able to see it, but we are starting to get some tension. Like if I take the blocking out, there should be some tension on those springs.
What's your tension supposed to be?
Oh God, I can't remember, but I think it's something like 15 pounds. If I put a scale on it on the front corner, it should be like 15 pounds. When you hit that 15-pound mark, it should start to lift on the table. If I remember correctly.
Should we take the strap off first?
Nope. Strap isn't really doing anything right now. I hate these friggin' jackals.
How do you know if the springs are too tight, though? Huh?
When it's lighter than 15 pounds.
You're gonna pick it up?
I might not be able to get out of it because of this.
Pick up your shit.
Got out of it. Pick up my shit. Listen here,
See?
woman.
Look at it.
Listen here. There, now you can see, if the wife will come and get in here, you can see that the springs are getting tensioned on them. They're starting to stretch a little bit, and that's what you want to see. Now, is there 15 pounds on here yet? Not even fucking close. So we got a lot of way to go. So we're going to shut that off, and I'm going to keep tightening this bolt up, and we'll bring you back when we're done. Shut it off. Alrighty, so we got it tensioned down. It's equal to the other side. Then you put this piece right here over top of your bolt head. That locks it into position, and you tighten it right there. That way your bolt can't back out to slacken off. Cover is on. We are going to oil our sealed bearings. These guys for the reel bearing. These are like a cam bearing. I always like to run some oil over top of them at the beginning of the year. Whether it manages to work its way into the bearing or not, I don't know, but that's just me, right? Wife is hard on her equipment. Like, she's missing bolts over here. She busted the spring. Like, I don't know. She's got a low tire. Like, come on, girl. What?
You go look at what you have.
No, we're not going to go over there. We're working on this one right now. We're done with that one for now.
Yeah,
we're working on
we're
this one.
done with that.
Anyways, so that's what's going on here for now, guys. We're going to finalize everything, and it should be good to go, and we'll do a test cut with it here in a little bit. Alrighty, so here we are. We're going to do a little bit of a test run. I actually did one little pass through this heavier grass in the yard right here. Push that sucker out. Right there, it's a little bit heavier grass. Oh, look, I'm missing. Bad me, bad me. Don't really care. I'm going to be letting the horses in here to chew this grass anyways. But it looks like she's going to want to cut. How about that? We are not actually going to take a bunch of grass down today. I'm just doing a little bit of a test run around the yard here. Because they're calling for severe thunderstorms again. But she's running nice. She's running pretty quiet. So that's all positive stuff. I think we got her. So, okay, guys. With that, do a snap. There. We'll take another one just in case. And with that, give us the old thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and let's get her done.